Hello, this is Joran Barres from the Activiti team, and in this short movie I just want to show you how I run this unit test that I talk about in my blog about multi-schema multi-tenancy, and actually show you that the data is isolated between the different schemas. So what I've got here is a unit test I'm talking about in my blog post, so let's start it up. So I've got in this setup 3 different tenants. They all have their own database schema. I'm using the H2 memory database just because it's easy to demo. I also add some demo users to it. I've got the Alfresco, the Acme, and the Stark Industries tenant with all of them a couple of users. So Genesis is booted up. So if I now start a few process instances, they will actually be created in the context of that tenant. So that's what's happening here. If you go into the start process instance method, you actually will see the tenant info holder is being set to the current user. That will set the current tenant identifier. Anyway, let's make it run against all of these. So here we go. If we're now going to the assert data, we actually check that we have the amount of process instances that we expect. So we expect to have only those that we created for that specific tenant and not to see any other of them, of the other tenants. Now, very important to remember is that in these methods, we're using the standard, create process instance query count method. So these are the same as if I would not be using multi-tenancy. I was just using a regular activity call. So API-wise, it's exactly the same as using the non-multi-tenant version, which is pretty neat. Anyhow, if I now go to my H2 client, so I've got. Let me just do a quick check how I named the data source. So I've got Activiti empty Alfresco. So if I now go into Activiti empty Alfresco and go into the execution, for example, you see I've got quite a few here already. If I do the same now for the other tenant, which is Acme, so let's switch to that. And do the same query. You'll see there's actually nothing because I didn't execute anything for that particular user. And then the last one, let's go to Activiti empty Stark from Stark Industries. So here we go. And the execution again. Here you see I've got 3. So you see that we've got different database schemas, different tenants, and you can definitely see the data is isolated. There is no data being shared between those two. And actually pretty neat, if I continue now my unit test, is that you can dynamically add new tenants, like here, add a Daily Planet tenant to it. So let me just try to go to the database. It won't exist, I think, if I now go to this. Here we go. You can see there is no tables being created. So let's close that for a minute and continue with our unit tests and generate a couple of process instances for this tenant. So if I now go to that H2, the empty daily, you'll see that now the tables have been created since I dynamically added this tenant, and it has its own executions isolated from the other tenants. So that was it that I wanted to show. I hope you found it useful. Thanks for watching.